happening? What's going on, guys? It's Thursday. It is officially the first day of May. No more April. Finito. See you later. It is now officially May. Welcome to May, everybody. Welcome to May. What do you say we do a little May blitz? We do a little blitzkrieg, a little May blitz action going on. And yeah, we've done this in the past before. And you know, I don't have and by the way, like, I don't have anything planned as far as like May blitz goes. I'm not saying, hey, we're going to go do this or that. I'm just saying, like, take a month, take 30 days, although technically it's 31, and just give it everything you got. Like, give it everything you got for 30 days. And anytime we do that, anytime you do that, anytime people do that, your business grows. End of story. Like, when you push yourself hard on something for 30 days and you give it your all. And I don't mean like kinda, sorta, a little bit here, a little bit there. I don't mean half-ass it. I mean like really give it your all for 30 days. Amazing stuff happens. Every time amazing stuff happens. So, you know, here we go. Join us live now, okay? Macro versus micro, okay? There we go. All right, so topic that we're going to be talking about today is, I mean, yeah, we'll kind of circle back to the blitz thing a little bit. We'll talk about that a little bit. But I want to talk about macro versus micro. Okay, so far, if you're with me, comment down below. Comment macro versus micro. By the way, push notification just went out. If you guys got the push, comment push. Okay, if you guys saw that. If you guys got the everyone tag from Facebook, meaning we'll say Daniel tagged you in a post. If you guys see that, comment tag. If you guys see that in your Facebook notifications. And again, drop some comments in there. So also comment macro versus micro, because I want to talk a lot about that today. I want to give examples. You know, every day when we go live, guys, you know, whether it's, you know, we do a duo, we do a Zoom, we're here in the Facebook group. Every time when we go live every single day, I want to try to give you guys something that you can take with you. You guys can kind of grab a little aha moment, a nugget, a morsel, something. I want to give you guys something that you guys can use and apply that into your business. Okay, so that's kind of the goal here of doing these daily live trainings. And also, by the way, that is an incredible thing that you guys can use when advertising your business, when out there making content. You guys can be using the fact that we teach, train, coach, educate, motivate, all those things 5 times a week. 5 times a week. Because a lot of people, and one of the reasons why we would want to advertise that, one of the reasons why we would want to really shout that from the rooftop is a lot of people get concerned. And I know this because I've seen this. I've been doing this for years. I've seen this in the comments, whether it be on, you know, YouTube videos, text messages, Facebook messages, whatever it is. People always say like, hey, after I get started, will I ever get support, or did I just get dumped into a system and then it is what it is? I'm like, no, you absolutely get support. You get access to, obviously, you know, your sponsor. You get access to the Facebook group. We have Q&A threads here in the Facebook group. We go live 5 times a week. You know, you can pop on the live. You can ask us your question. You can pop onto the replay, ask us your question. You're always going to be able to, you know, have a resource, have a place to go to get your questions answered. Always, you know, so people certainly appreciate that. So something you guys might want to talk about. So now when I say, put this in the comments down below, what are your thoughts? When I say micro versus macro, what is the first thing that comes to mind when you think of that? So, and I'll narrow it down a little more, make this more about your business. When you think about your business and you think about micro versus macro, what's the first thing for you that comes to mind? Let me know your thoughts on this. What's the first thing that comes to mind? Yeah, so perfect, right? Sim made it really simple, right? Simple is always better. Yeah, small versus big, right? Small versus big, micro versus macro, okay? And cheers to those of you guys that are sipping some Java this morning, enjoying a nice cup of Good Morning America, or, you know, good evening, Australia, wherever you are, I don't know. But cheers, So micro versus macro. Yes, I'm on my, this is my third cup. And that's all I do. I do 3 small cups over the course of 3 hours, about a cup an hour. So there's a lot of different ways to look at micro versus macro. And I want to try to base this on, I've been really just lately thinking about you. Yeah, you. I've been thinking about you and thinking about how can we as a team help you get better results, right? And before I get to kind of some of my thoughts on this, the first thing I want to do is I want to share like a little bit of a story, and it's a very, it's a very recent story. Specifically, I just sent another push out too, just kind of let people know to jump in. I want to share a story from this week. There it is right there. Perfect, right? So when my results are not what I want them to be, okay? So I'm gonna give you guys a story perspective from my point of view, how I look at my business, my own personal results, my own team, my own personal sales, my own, money that I'm making. When I look at those things, I decide to either make micro adjustments or macro adjustments. So let me explain the difference between the two. Like a micro adjustment is like a little minor adjustment. A macro adjustment would be a major adjustment in business. And I'll explain the two as we go along today. But when I was looking at my business results this week, over the last 4 days, check out this is reality, guys, and this is why you also need to look at things. You need to have the ability to look at things on a macro level, on a big scale, and also look at things on a micro scale, a smaller scale. And please understand that there is a difference between the two. So if you understand that, comment difference, okay? Comment difference. You got to understand that there is a difference between the two, looking at things on a bigger scale versus a smaller scale. Sometimes most people are just kind of stuck in big scale. They're just stuck in like this big scale of like, I need everything all at once. That's lottery ticket mentality. You just look at things on a big scale. I just signed up 2 days ago and I haven't made $1 million. It's like, whoa, bring it down. Look at things on a smaller scale. Okay. So I was looking at my sales over the last 4 days, right? Last 4 days, I was looking at my sales. And for me personally, I made one sale in the last 4 days. And for me, that is incredibly low. And I borderline, was like, because let's face it, like we're all human. We all have emotions. We all have feelings, right? And I was kind of feeling my feelings a little bit. And I was like, and of course, what do we think, right? What do we think? You instantly think. Now, some people, if they made one sale in 4 days, they'd be jumping off the roof. They'd be like, oh my God, this is great. This is unbelievable. Like I'm getting, I made a sale. Woohoo. But compared to my normal results, one sale in 4 days was soft. And I was like, man. So I'm thinking to myself, like, so the first thing, human instinct, right? I think to myself, do I need to make a change? Do I need to change what I'm doing? And if I make this change, is it going to be a macro change or is it going to be a micro change? Am I going to make a little adjustment or do I need to make a big adjustment? And I think that, and I know some of you guys do this because I can, believe it or not, guys, like I follow a lot of you on social, whether it be on TikTok or YouTube or Insta or Facebook or whatever. Like I like to see what my peeps are doing, and I'll follow you guys and I'll see what you're doing. And sometimes the moves I see you guys making, I'm just like, whoa, that would like what's going on there, So I said to myself, I'm like, okay, one sale, 4 days, not my norm. do I need to make an adjustment, right? So the only thing I did do a little bit, and I wouldn't even say it different, I just did it, I did something yesterday with the only thing that I changed. Ready for this? This might be an aha moment for some of you guys. The only thing that I changed yesterday is I still made the same content. Okay, I was making the same short form videos. I was making the same YouTube videos, and I went live. And you guys, I've told you guys this before. My formula for success, for me personally, take this if you want, write this down if you need to. Okay, 3 short form videos per day per social platform. So 3 short form videos to TikTok, to Facebook, to Insta. Okay, those are my 3 that I go to every single day. 1 full-length YouTube video a day, and then I go live on YouTube 3 times a week. That's my blueprint. So if you understand that, comment blueprint. So the only thing that I did a little bit different, I made a little micro adjustment. A little micro adjustment. Not a macro. I didn't go, holy shit, and I changed everything. I made a little micro adjustment yesterday. And when I went live, and this is going to sound so simple, but all I did is I showed up to my live with more energy. I brought the energy. It's already been brought in. Okay? I brought the energy. Anyone remember that movie? I don't even know what that movie was called. So I brought the energy. Now, when you look at the macro and you look at all the other stuff, all the other sales, when I look back like over the last 3 weeks, everything that I've been doing is relatively in that pocket. There weren't any major adjustments. I just made a little micro adjustment and I showed up with a little more energy to my live. Now, ready for this? Whether it was that micro adjustment or not that I made yesterday, results told me otherwise. And you can kind of like, now's when you kind of like take opinions out. Results told me otherwise. I went from 1 sale in 4 days. And then last night, starting at 6 p.m., I made, ready for this? I made 7 sales in 7 hours. 7 sales in 7 hours. So comment the number 7 down below. 7 sales in 7 hours. Now, is that because I just brought a little more energy to my live? Maybe, maybe not. But I can tell you internally, after I made that little micro adjustment for myself and I showed up in my business to my live with more energy, more excitement, more enthusiasm. After that live was over, before the sales came in, I felt better about things. And that to me is what really matters. And I want you to think about like maybe where you're at. And when I step back and I look at my results for the week and I look at my results for like the past 3 weeks or even like the past 30 days, the past month, right? Hold on. Ooh, it's right there. I thought I was going to sneeze. I thought I was going to sneeze. It was like right there. Anyway, when I step back and I look at my results on a macro level, on a bigger level, and I know my consistency, I know what I'm doing each and every single day. I know those things, right? Okay. I know that I'm not going to freak out and make a macro adjustment. So what, as an example, like what would be a macro adjustment? A macro adjustment would be a big shift in your business. Big shift. So comment big shift if you understand that. So what would be a big shift? A big shift would be like, I'm not going to do short form videos anymore. No more short form videos. I'm not getting any results from short form videos. So I'm just not going to do them anymore. That would be a big shift in my marketing. That would be a big shift in how I promote my business. That would be a macro adjustment to be like, hey, I'm not going to promote anymore. I'm not going to use short form videos. I'm only going to use like, I'm now going to make a shift and I'm going to do safe lists. or I'm just going to do solo ads. I'm going to make a huge swing in my marketing. That would be a macro adjustment. And to be honest with you, that type of big scale adjustment, like instantly like that, would most likely be a bad move. Now, how do we know until we have the data? We don't. But again, when you make a huge shift like that, maybe, I don't know. But I can tell you one thing, and I've had these conversations with a lot of you guys, right? You know, especially those of you guys that have been with us for a long time. Sometimes you just need some new energy. And you can do that simply with one video. One video can give you, and trust me, please, trust me from experience over the years, not just for myself, but working with a lot of you guys for over the years. Sometimes just one video can give you that shift in energy that you need. You know, just one little micro adjustment sometimes is all you need. So what I want you to think about now, and the whole reason why I'm sharing the difference between like macro and micro is I want you guys to think about right now. I want you to think about where you are in your business, where you are in your marketing, your content, your results, right? I want you guys to think about where you are, and are there, and only you can answer this for you, but are there adjustments that you can or maybe should make in your business to better your results? So I'm gonna ask you, what do you guys think? Yes or no? Are there micro adjustments that you can make in your business to increase your results? Yes or no? What do you guys think? Okay. Are there? So, okay, really interesting question by Steven here. Steven says, what energy did you switch? How did you switch? And the easiest way for me to answer that is, talking about, and specifically I talked about showing up to a live. Like I did a live yesterday, and I go live 3 times a week on my YouTube channel, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern. And I go live and I do a presentation. The same exact presentation that's in our Tuesday night webinar. I do that presentation. I just do it on my YouTube channel. So the difference is the shift in energy for me was I showed up first thing I did is I showed up internally for myself. Like I was selfish for me, right? And I showed up, I said, you know what? I'm going to show up today and I'm going to bring more energy. I'm going to bring more excitement. I'm going to bring more enthusiasm. And I'm going to do this for me so I can make this, because whatever was in my head over the last few days, only making literally 1 sale, I said, I need to mentally kind of break out of this little like, oh, woe is me type of thing. And that's just me talk. That's just me kind of thinking to myself. And I know like we all get this, like, again, like I mentioned before, like we're human beings, guys. Like we all have emotion. We all have feelings. And of course I was feeling a little down that I only had 1 sale in 4 days when, again, just looking at on a bigger scale, if I had looked at last week or even the last 3 weeks, in the last 3 weeks, I've had 20 sales or more in the last 3 weeks. And then I went like 4 days and I only had 1 sale. I'm like, what the hell? Like, so we instinctively would think, if that were you would think like, well, what's wrong? What am I not doing? What do I need to change? So I didn't go crazy. And this is why I'm telling you guys, like I didn't make a macro adjustment. I didn't go crazy. I just made a little shift in energy, a little shift in how I showed up to my live. And I showed up to my live as if there were thousands of people there and I had great energy. And then, that was at noon. That was at 12 o'clock. I didn't even get my first sale yesterday until 6 p.m. And like I mentioned, I got 7 sales in 7 hours after that. Could that be all because of what I said on my live? Maybe. Could that be from my energy? Maybe. Could that be just that little micro shift that I made and how I showed up for myself? Maybe. I don't know. But in the grand scheme of things, like, did me showing up as a better, version of myself yesterday, did that help me? I'm going to say, yeah, it did, because of the data that I have to back it up. So the whole point here, guys, is, like, these little micro adjustments that you can make, showing up for yourself is critically important. So as I mentioned in the very beginning here, what I'm trying to give you guys here today when we do these lives for you guys is to give you guys something resourceful that you could take away from this and then apply to, your business. Celeste, great comment. She says it could literally be as small as, or as simple as smiling in your videos, or changing your vibration when you put your videos out by saying affirmations to yourself and claiming the success with each video that you put out, right? Okay. Yeah, and so stop, a lot of you guys have that mentality of like, what's wrong? I don't know what's wrong. And that's a negative mentality. So instead of thinking, look at, the difference between the two comments, what's wrong versus, making that positive shift. And I'm going to manifest, I'm going to put out there, I'm going to smile in my videos, right? I'm going to put out there that this video is going to perform well. It's just, you guys understand, like, you could do the same activity, right? And this isn't just about energy, just about smiling, just about like how you're carrying yourself. There's a lot of bigger things going on here, but I want you guys to realize, like, we're all doing the same activity, right? We're all putting out pieces of content. You could either do it and get stuck in a lane and do the same thing day in, day out, day in, day out. And you could be like, DK, I'm being consistent. You told me to be consistent. I'm being consistent. But it's like, you're being negatively consistent. That's a thing. Or you could be positively consistent. That's a different thing. And there is a difference. Both being consistent, both putting out content, consistency. Yeah. One is working, the other one's not. So the question is, for you guys, if and now that you guys maybe are a little more aware of some of these things, what little micro adjustments can you make to increase your results? And that's really the whole goal here, is when you step back and you look at what you're doing, what little micro adjustments can you make? Because ultimately, making small micro adjustments in your business can lead to, ready for this? Can lead to a macro difference in your results. That was pretty crazy. Whoa, I don't know what, I just got a little pop-up hand gesture thing here. I don't know what that means. But you can make little micro adjustments along the way. Perfect example, guys. Perfect example is a little over a year ago, we made a macro adjustment in our business. Macro adjustment. We shifted from one back-end opportunity to another one. That's a macro adjustment. When we got into that in the beginning of 2024, we had to go make lots of little micro adjustments all along the way of how we market our business. That new opportunity that we went to back in the beginning of 2024, it was much different than what we were used to. So we had to make a lot of like micro adjustments in our marketing, in our value stack, in our advertising, in our verbiage, in our phrases, and all that. We didn't make a macro adjustment in our marketing, meaning like we didn't say, okay, now everyone's going to do paid ads and no one's going to do, free advertising. That would be a macro adjustment. We just made a lot of little micro adjustments, how we perceive things, how we talk about things, how we market things, how we put things together in our when we're showcasing it in our webinars, right? We made a lot of little micro adjustments, and that led to, over the course of the year, that led to a macro difference in results by making a lot of micro adjustments. Now, when we look back and look where we are here, almost a year and a half later, we have much, much, much better results because of that macro adjustment that we made and making a lot of those little micro adjustments, learning along the way and constantly adjusting, making little micro adjustments, okay? So you only do the macro when it's absolutely necessary, right? You only do the macro when it's absolutely necessary. Like the server crashes and we lose our entire business. You make a macro adjustment, right? Versus, making little micro adjustments all along the way, okay? Okay. So another good comment from Salesh says, I said to myself this morning right before I posted, my videos generate thousands of views and multiple leads and sales. And within 30 minutes, I had a blind sale. That is creating content with a good positive energy, putting it out there with a good positive energy, manifesting with a good positive energy. And what do you know? Results come. And I want you guys to realize energy is a real thing, guys. Like energy is a real freaking thing. And sometimes, and I was talking about this earlier. I've had conversations with some of you guys when you start to kind of flatline a little bit, when the results in your business are kind of flatlined, you might need some new energy. Now, that new energy doesn't mean that you make a macro adjustment. And I know a lot of times this is what we kind of instinctively go to. This isn't working. Let me go blow shit up and let me go make this big, huge adjustment. And then it's, now you're starting over again. Or, you quit or you just completely shift what you're doing. And then that doesn't really help anything because you overreacted. Okay? You overreacted versus, and I recently had a chat with this about, I was talking to Catherine about this, just kind of creating that like new, we called them little victories. So come at little victories right now. So what are some things that you can do in your business to create little victories? And that would be, again, making a little micro adjustment. So as an example, and I'll give you, and this is real life, guys, real life stories here. Okay. Catherine's been using a video that she's been sending people to probably for, I don't even know, like 8 or 9 months now, 8 or 9 months. And, she felt that and I'm sure she's okay with me sharing this because again, this is real life stuff here. And, her sales kind of fell a little flat. And she's like, it was kind of like the feeling, the words didn't come out, but the feeling was like, what am I doing wrong? And it's not that you're doing anything wrong, but it's more like, and so instead of thinking negatively, what am I doing wrong? The conversation was more like, what can you adjust and do right? It's a big difference. It's a big difference. So I kind of said like, let's create some little victories in your business. Let's not try to do a macro victory, right? Let's not say that you're going to go out and do 50 sales this week, because when you've been operating here and then you set a goal that's way up here, that's out of reach, you're trying to go from micro to macro in a very short amount of time. And again, it can create all kinds of emotions that do not help you. So I said, let's create some little victories here. Let's come up with some goals right now. What would be a good little victory for you? How about, and the suggestion was, and this is exactly what we're talking about, how about a new video with new energy? And even just, I want you guys to think about this too, like even recording a new video with new energy is going to change and increase in a positive way your energy, your outlook, your own personal vibration about how you feel and how you carry yourself. Because otherwise, if you didn't make any changes and you just kept being okay with not having good results or not having the results you want, and you just stayed in that cycle over and over and over and over and over again, then you have the mentality of what's wrong? What am I not doing right? Versus what can I do right today? Or what can I do to increase my energy, to increase my results today? What little adjustment can I make? What goal or what little victory can I try to create? Because, and here's the thing, with these little victories, it was like, put out a new video, show up, have some positive energy, regardless of whatever's happened in the past. Show up today, show up today, show up right now. And that's exactly what I did yesterday. I showed up to my live, regardless of what my results were. I literally pushed those aside, regardless of what my results were. I showed up to my live with good, sincere, positive energy. And that's the same thing I shared with Catherine. I said, show up to your video and create a little victory for yourself. And then boom, once your video's done, you check the box. It's behind you. That's a little victory you can celebrate. Hey, I just got a good new video done. Awesome. Now it's another little victory that you can set up. Hey, if you're averaging, and I'm just using averages here, maybe for you, you're generating 1 lead a week or 5 leads a week or 10 leads a week, whatever the number is, it doesn't matter. Whatever the number is, it doesn't matter. So you create a realistic little victory that you can achieve each and every day, each and every week. And when you accomplish that, you can celebrate it because that's what you set out to do and you accomplish that. You know, little victories. We're not going for the moon. We're not going for a macro. I'm not saying, hey, everyone go out and get 100 sales this week. That would just be crazy macro, crazy high. And for most people, that would be unattainable, unachievable, because that's not your standard. That's not your norm. So don't put the expectation on yourself that you're going to go from micro to macro in a very short amount of time. Focus on little victories, little micro adjustments that you make that build up over time. I mean, that's why we talk about this stuff over and over and over and over and over again here. They compound over time. That's why this book is so important, guys. If you guys haven't read this book, if you guys have read this book, comment read that book down below. If you guys haven't read this book, you know, I'm not going to hold you accountable to it. I'm really not. You need to shit or get off the pot and decide if you want to do it yourself. But this book right here can change your business. Change mine. And I know it's changed many others here too. And by the way, like, you don't have to go buy it. You don't need the hard copy like I have. You can go to YouTube. You can listen to it for free. I believe it's even narrated by the author, Darren Hardy. Okay. You can go make this little micro adjustment in your business and listen to a chapter a day. Listen to a chapter a day. That's a micro adjustment that you can make in your business starting right now, today, right? Or maybe if you did listen to it, maybe if you did read it, maybe go read it again. Maybe go read it again. I always get more value from a book the second time and the third time, you know? All right. So speaking of, I mean, I can't make this shit up. Like, I literally can't make this shit up. This is just positive energy, guys. This is positive energy, and what we're doing right now. We're live. It is literally 10:35 a.m. at the time of this. 10:35 a.m. I'm gonna share my screen. You guys see what just came in right here? 10:34 a.m. I just made a sale right now, live today. Okay. Now, is that because I showed up on my live yesterday with good positive energy? Is that because I made a little micro adjustment in my business? Is that because I have good positive energy now? What is it that made that sale come in right now? Did I speak to that person? Nope. Came in blind. While we're live, I was not communicating with that person, right? I actually haven't talked to any leads today. None. Zero. And a sale just came in live. Is that good positive energy? Is that focused on the things that I want to go right? Is that focused on good things versus what's wrong? What do you think? I don't know. So now it's time to get real. Let's reel it all in. Reel it all in. So I was having, Bill and I were chatting about this a little bit this morning. And what I want you to do is I want you to look at your business. And as an example, like if you're kind of like flat and you're not getting the results you want, what I want you to think about is, what are the micro adjustments that you can make in your business right now? What are those micro adjustments that you can make in your business? What are you, remember, like, you hear this all the time, right? The same two people can grow up in the same town. They can go to the same schools, same college, right? One gets a job making $40,000 a year. The other one goes off and makes $500,000 a year. Same people, same town, same schools. You know, one goes on and gets great results and the other one doesn't. The other one is just average like everybody else, right? So for you, you know, you think about people here in this group. And let's just say hypothetically, right? Let's just say that we're all consistent. Okay, let's just rule that out. Let's just say that we're all consistent here. Okay, now I'm going to get into some meat and potatoes here, so pay attention. We're all consistent. Everyone's putting out content every day. And you got the people over here that are doing the same thing you're doing and they're getting results. Maybe like me, you know, that's now 8 sales in, you know, just over 12 hours. Okay. So we're doing the same thing. We're putting out content. I'm getting sales. You're doing the same thing. You're putting out content and you're not getting sales. So now you got to look at what you're doing, the same activity, right? Results over here, not results over here. What, you're not going to make a macro adjustment. You're not going to make a big, huge adjustment. What little macro adjustment can you make to be more like this lane versus more like this lane? Can you, you know, like Celeste mentioned earlier, can you show up better in your videos? Can you have more energy in your videos? And just going to keep it real with you. I'm going to keep it real with you. Some of you guys that are putting out content that are like, yeah, I'm not getting any results. I'm not making any money. I watch your content and I want to friggin' fall asleep. Truth. It's like, hey, I wanted to make this video today for you. Oh, by the way, my name is Bob, and you know, and it's like, scroll, boring, on to the next one. So could you make, yeah, you're being consistent, you're putting out boring content every day, but can you make maybe a little micro adjustment, and can you bring more energy to your video? I don't know, can you? If you know that, now here's some food for thought. If you know that, I'll take the top 5 or so producers in our business right now, okay? So, and I won't even say me, right? I won't even say me. I won't even say Kirsty. I won't even say Bill. I'll just kind of take us out of it here. Like if you were to look at Catherine, Celeste, Nicole, Shannon, John, and some others, like if you saw like their consistency and you compared that to your consistency, and this is just data, guys. This is just, now it's going to come down to kind of data, right? And you saw their consistency and you're like, hey, they're being consistent every single day. I'm being consistent every single day. They're getting sales. Now I'm not. Like, something's wrong. And maybe it's not what's wrong. It's just, I want you guys to think about this. It's not what's wrong. It's what can you do differently, or what can you do better? So I want you to put that in the comments right now. What can I do better? What little adjustment can you make in your business? If you're being consistent, that is fantastic. But what can you do better? Can you make a better short form video? Can you make a better long form video? Can you go live? Can you have more energy in your videos? Can you show up better for yourself? Can you have a more positive mindset? Can you invest into yourself daily and invest into your own mindset and attitude. Can you do these things? Can you show up and be a better person? Can you be a better marketer? Can you create better content? Can you have more positive energy? And by the way, I'm going to give you guys the answer. The answer to every question I just asked you is yes. Yes, you can, if you want to. If you want to. Because my favorite line in the entire world, if you really want to do something, you'll find a way. If you don't, you'll create an excuse. So are you creating excuses? Are you pointing blame? Are you shitting on yourself? Are you shitting on the opportunity or the training or the methods or whatever it is? Are you having self-doubt? You can fix all of it. You can fix all of it. All of it is fixable if you want it, if you want to. It's up to you. It's totally up to you. You know, that's it. So I'm going to tack off of what Shannon just commented down below. She said, show up like you already have it. So in a really simple way, yesterday when I did my live, when I only had one sale in 4 days, and for me, that is not the norm. When I went live yesterday, I showed up like I was going to make sales. I showed up with energy, with enthusiasm, with positive energy. I showed up differently than I normally do, than I have been recently. I showed up differently. Now, the data on the flip side of that is 8 sales in just over 12 hours. Different energy, different result. I mean, let's just kind of call this what it is. Same energy, same result, different energy, different result. Does that make sense? And I don't even know if that was really the point I was trying to make here with this video. That's just kind of the point that we landed on. But I think it's very impactful, and I think it's something that we can all think about from time to time. Even me, someone who I've been doing this for 7 freaking years, guys. And I still make little adjustments in my business all the time. Do I go crazy and just stop doing one thing or freak out? No. Because I know that consistency over time and making little adjustments can lead to really awesome things. So I know this because some of you guys are reaching out to me and you're like, hey, I've been doing this for X amount of time and I'm not getting anywhere. Maybe you need to make some adjustments. Maybe you need to make some adjustments mentally. Maybe you need to make some adjustments physically. Maybe you need to do some things a little bit different. Maybe you need to show up a little different. Maybe you need to learn a little more. Maybe you need to apply a little more. Maybe you need to, just a big fat clue is if you see other people that are getting results and you're not, maybe go try to get a little closer to what they're doing. And I don't mean from a sales standpoint. I mean from an energy standpoint, from a productivity standpoint, from a quality of video standpoint, from any standpoint you can find. That's if they're consistent over here and they're making sales and you're consistent over here and you're not making sales, what micro adjustments can you make to increase or better your results? That's it. And it's all out there. It's all out there for you to take, for you to have, for you to be. It's all out there. Just got to decide if you want to go make that shift, make it happen. Because if you want to, you will. If you don't, you won't. Life is simple, guys. Life is really simple. Anything that you want to achieve, anything that you want to have, anything that you want to be, you can do it. Just got to decide. That's it. So that's it for today, my friends. That's it for today. Appreciate you. Get out there. Let's go make it happen. Like I've told you guys before, the sales are there. Sales are out there. I just showed you. Like, just made a blind sale just now. The sales are there. People want what you have. People want it. Straight up, they want it. You just got to go show them. That's it. Show up. Show up first for yourself. Show up for yourself first. Be the person. This is so important. Be the person that you want to sponsor into your business. Go be that person. Because on the flip side of that, you got to ask yourself, would you sponsor you? If you're like, oh, woe is me. This isn't working. I'm not getting results. Ho hum. Would you want to sponsor you? I'd sponsor me in a heartbeat. I'll take 100 of me. I'll take 1,000 of me. I'd be a very rich man. But you got to ask yourself, would you sponsor you? Would you want to sponsor you? I literally told somebody no the other day. I had someone that was trying to join me, and I told them flat out, please don't join me. I don't want you on my team. Because they were nasty. They were negative. They're like, I'm trying to set up, but I can't. Anyway, long story. And I just said, dude, I don't want you on my team. Please join somebody else. Please do not join my team. I don't want you on my team. As a matter of fact, if you do join my team, I'm going to call the company and tell them to refund your money because I don't want you on my team. Be the person you want to bring in. Think about that energy for a second. That's it. Appreciate you guys. See you guys live tomorrow. Friday, maybe we'll do something special tomorrow. Maybe we'll go back down to the pool. Maybe we'll do a Zoom. Who knows? We'll see. Catch you guys later.